Have you ever felt it? That haunting feeling that sneaks up on you in your late 20s or 30s. The realization that growing up isn't freedom, it's a trap. It feels like we shed our childhood dependence only to find ourselves bound by adult obligations. We traded the freedom to play for the crushing necessity of performance. Psychologically, this trap is built by two powerful forces: the loss of unconditional self-worth and the hardening of our old survival strategies. As children, our sense of worth often came from the outside, depending on whether we pleased our caregivers. But adulthood demands we find that worth internally, and the gap between those two realities can feel like a chasm. When we were young, we communicated our needs with raw immediacy. If a need was consistently ignored or interrupted, we developed strategies to get it met indirectly, or we just learned to stop needing altogether. These survival adaptations, these masks we put on, become our default settings in adulthood. The responsible one, the invisible one, the entertainer, they all stick with us. And then there's the trap of agency. We gain independence, but we lose the right to be messy. As kids, a tantrum or deep neediness might have been tolerated, even if it was poorly handled. But as adults, our inner critic, that internalized voice of authority, demands we perform competence at all times. We feel we must have the perfect career, the perfect relationship, the perfect emotional stability. This creates a state of perfectionistic enmeshment. We become trapped by the very standards we set for ourselves to prove we were worthy of love way back then. We start chasing external markers, the degree, the job title, not because we love the work, but because we hope these achievements will finally silence that internal voice, whispering, "You are not safe unless you achieve." The trap deepens in our relationships. If our caregivers were inconsistent, we learn that love is conditional or fleeting. We grow up terrified of true intimacy, because being truly seen exposes the fragile, needy parts of ourselves we learned to hide so long ago. We build walls, not to keep others out, but to keep our unmet inner child safe inside, even if it means sabotaging the healthy connections that finally arrive. This is what we call unfinished emotional development. The essential tasks of childhood: learning to self-soothe, learning that emotions are temporary, learning self-validation were either outsourced or ignored. So, as adults, we're expected to manage adult-sized problems with an unequipped emotional core. That mismatch creates deep fatigue and the feeling of being perpetually overwhelmed. But there is a way out. The pivot is healing through reparenting. The only way out of the trap of adulthood is not to achieve more, but to reparent the self. This is where inner child work becomes the essential psychological intervention. It means intentionally doing for your adult self what your younger self desperately needed. Here's an actionable step to start with: validation over fixation. When you feel that familiar childhood anxiety bubble up, don't rush to fix it with another achievement or distraction. Instead, validate the feeling. Say to yourself, "I see you are feeling terrified right now. That fear makes sense based on what you experienced. In that moment, you are offering the attuned, compassionate response that was missing." And here's a second step: give yourself permission to be inefficient. The adult trap thrives on efficiency and productivity. Counter it by deliberately choosing something inefficient but nourishing. Take a long walk without a destination. Stare out the window without guilt. This teaches your system that your being has inherent value, independent of your doing. Growing up feels like a trap because we tried to build an adult life using the broken blueprints of childhood survival. Healing is the courageous act of returning to that blueprint, not to resent it, but to gently redraw the foundation. You are not stuck in the past. You are merely waiting for the present version of you to finally meet the needs of the past you. Give yourself the permission you always sought. Come home.